Flair loves controversy. We should know this already. He loves and breeds off of it as much as being in the spotlight. He said this. He's the nature boy, Ric Flair. He said it himself. This is his life, and this is what he's all about. Which is why Ric Flair has did it again. He has taken more shots at Chris Jericho, proceeding to Twitter once again to call out Chris Jericho, to call him a Shawn Michaels wannabe, call him that he's only a legend in his own mind, that Ric Flair has to be, because he's the nature boy, of course. And he proceeds to diss him once more and discredit him for saying, "Where did you get that cheap suit?" This isn't the first time. Oh no, of course not. Ric Flair has had many beefs and many spats with previous other wrestlers. Real life animosity towards Mick Foley and Bret Hart. Ric Flair and Mick Foley, it's even more goes into history between themselves. They talk about and go in more detail about their feud, going far back as much as to 1999, when Mick Foley had first released his book during the height of his career in the WWF. Mick would proceed to go into detail in his autobiography, stating that Flair was every bit as bad on the booking side of things as he was on the great side of wrestling. Those words was Mick Foley stating that during his first start in WCW, because Flair had a role to play in being side of the booking committee of WCW. Flair would immediately fire back, stating that he didn't care how many thumbtacks Mick Foley had fallen on, how many ladders he's fallen off of, how many continents he supposedly bled on. He will always be known as a glorified stunt man. And this obviously set and enraged Foley off, because once they both had got the chance in Huntsville, Alabama to be exact, in 2004, they had came to blows in a very serious altercation. Al Snow even confirms this, and he goes more in detail about Rick and Mick Foley's feud all throughout the 90s to the 2000s. Going back to what I said earlier, like I said, this isn't the first time that Ric Flair has come out and just called out Chris for simply just being it, and called him out, dissing him, especially on Twitter. 2 months in, off of creating his own podcast, Rick would even go on there to say that Chris Jericho had lacked the basic fundamentals in the ring to even be considered among the greats, stating that punching and kicking are the fundamentals of the business, neither of which is he necessarily proficient at. He works, he can do the lion's hammer, all the flips, everything in the world, and this is nothing. But the guys that are the great ones are the guys that never ever miss anything, by that being a punch, kick, whatever calls for it. Does that make sense to you? Now, of course, granted, Rick is entitled to his opinion just as much as everybody else, but I don't know. Going back to months ago with his recent feud, reuniting again with Becky Lynch all over Twitter, berating her, it just makes me think that he feels whenever Rick opens his mouth, especially a lot to say on Twitter, it just feels like whether it's a lot of animosity or just more jealousy looking at other wrestlers or past wrestlers before him. Then he would blast an article as to, saying that even going as far as to claiming that he owns the word goat, and claiming that going back to that you've got to be kidding me. First it was the man, and we know who won that. They still don't own it, and now I have to deal with this. Have you lost your mind, good Lord? And like I just mentioned before, of recently calling Chris Jericho out yet again, saying that he's only a legend in his own mind. He's just, another iteration of another wrestler, being that, Shawn Michaels, of course. I feel like I feel like a few number of wrestlers have said that just to discredit, like, Dolph Ziggler, or, in this case now, Chris Jericho, as far as to just discredit their, natural abilities, as far as to be, a lot much bigger, and, be considered that great. So it's just, when it comes to Rick, it's just, especially now, because he just does a lot of what he does just on Twitter now. It's like your grandfather that just reminisce a lot about the glory days, and whenever they see, another wrestler kind of from their time, or just, whoever else probably just trying to, as they claim, trying to nag on their name, or, trying to bite off of what they supposedly had made themselves, they just completely, they go off the rails. And with Rick, it's just he's been doing a lot of things that's just like with the recent, you know, even getting more suspicions about when it comes to the plane ride from hell, and about, the sexual assault. And it's just, it's just he's just been completely weird, whether it's having, animosity, or just plain hatred for for other wrestlers. And it's just, yeah, considering that the person that he is in real life, as well as the name, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Yeah, he just, it basically, as himself. Yeah, he lives that life, and he always wants to be in the spotlight, and others are, they just get shunned, completely shunned. And, it's really sad, because if, as y'all didn't know already, Rick has been training, and wanting to have one more comeback yet again. So yeah, this could be a ploy for for him to just grab Chris to do, probably possibly another match at, his own, event. It's incredibly sad that, that Rick has just time and time again, just recently now, more of just, has just to come out and just, yeah, acted childish and be this ignorant. But, like I just said before, him being the Nature Boy, and him being his name Ric Flair, that's the type of person you would actually see in real life, that has that much, you know, that large of a head on their body, and them feeling them in themselves. It's just sad to see. Unlike Rick, I know Hulk, because, Hogan says some of the stupid stuff, because, saying, going back to 2020, when he, originally had said about his opinions on the vaccine. But so, yeah, when it comes to individuals like Rick and Hogan, just as much as they're remembered for their wrestling career and personalities, and, larger than life characters, they're gonna be remembered for, the shit that they've done, whether it's recently, or just, throughout all their lives, whether it's, just disturbing, or, ignorant. So yeah, what can you expect? And that's pretty much it. And yeah, if you want to talk a little bit, or even go as far as to, yeah, talk more about this, yeah, in the comments we can blow it up. So yes, I'll head on out and enjoy the rest of y'all day. Stay blessed.